Hello, welcome. So, bit of a weird intro today. I've noticed that YouTube seems to be pushing my videos a little bit further out lately, so a lot of new eyes are coming. Well, I say a lot to me. So I'm going to start introducing myself at the start of the videos, and obviously there is always going to be timestamps for the chapters when the story starts, so if you want to skip the intros, if you're not new here, that is absolutely fine. But basically, I'm going to start by saying, hi, I'm Void. I read silly crap I find on Reddit for you guys, for your entertainment, my entertainment. We have a good time. I am just a crazy cat lady, sat in my bedroom, at my desk, reading you things, and we love it, don't we? But anyway, today we're going to be getting into a little bit of r/AmITheA. Yay! A firm favourite for the channel. Well, firm favourite for me anyway. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in getting into with me today, please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. This one was posted by Massive Primary 8649, and the title is Am I the Butthole for refusing to work things out with my fiance because my life is better now that his daughter isn't around? Hell of a title that, isn't it, really? I know the title makes me look like a butthole, a little bit. I accepted that, but for full transparency, I wanted to be completely honest here. Basically, I've been with my fiancé Matt for 8 years. He has a daughter, 14-year-old Vivian. So 14-year-old, been together 8 years. Vivian was 6 when they got together. If my math is mathing, might not be, probably isn't. I tried so hard to involve Vivian in everything. I enrolled her in all of these extracurricular programs and showed up to every single event. I spent thousands on things that she wanted/needed. I bought her out for one-on-one to do girly things like get our hair and our nails done, or even go shopping. One-on-one dinners wherever she wanted to eat. She literally complained about everything. Every time I brought her out to eat, she complained loudly about the food being trash. Every single time we went and did our hair and nails, she would complain that it turned out bad. Complained on Christmas and asked if she had more stuff coming because she only had 16 items under the tree. Literally everything on her wish list. And she was grateful but disappointed because she expected more from us. No, but seriously, Vivian sounds a bit spoilt, just a tad. And like she's purposefully trying to just annoy the OP, for sure, just from the off on that. Tie this in with other things like all my stuff going missing constantly, my makeup that she had been told not to touch several times became free game for her, my hairbrush that I also told her not to touch was always left on the counter with giant chunks of hair left in it. Ew, Vivian, that's disgusting, mate. What are you doing? All her hair products and makeup sit right beside mine in the bathroom, and despite her stuff being higher quality, she still uses mine. Literally spaced out whenever I tried talking to her about it. Her eyes would just gloss over and she would stare right through me, nod her head and say, or tell me why it wasn't a big deal and she was tired of me creating drama with her. My clothing? Yeah, half that missing, and I would catch her wearing them and she would blatantly lie and gaslight me by saying, "You literally gave me this and now you're gonna flip out?" Just had zero respect for me, and that was obvious. Her dad did absolutely step in every single time and reprimand her, but honestly, yeah, I feel like using someone else's stuff without their permission is such a huge sign of disrespect, a huge sign that you are just void of manners, and a huge sign that you're a bit of a spoilt turd and entitled. And honestly, I know that people say, oh, you know, kids will be kids and kids don't know any better. Vivian's 14. Plus, kids can be kids, yeah, but kids can also be very unlikable too. Some kids are just not likable. I'm sorry, it's true. Especially when they're spoilt and entitled like that. It all came to a head over a damn bowl of tuna. So, my fiancé and I have a 2-year-old and she has been extremely ill. I am so busy dealing with fussiness all day and seemingly all night long that I simply forget to feed myself. So, 3 days ago, I get the baby to sleep and go lounge in the living room and start making myself some tuna for crackers around 11 p.m. Vivian comes out and sees me making it. She gets herself a drink and goes back to her room. The baby wakes up, so I put my tuna in the fridge, get the baby back to sleep, and when I come out, Vivian is on the couch eating it. It was the last of the tuna and I was starving and really craving it. I didn't eat dinner because I didn't like the meal I made for Vivian and Matt, so I snapped a bit. I asked why she would be touching my food when she already ate dinner, and she really just rolled her eyes, tossed my bowl on the counter, and slammed off to her bedroom. I immediately woke up Matt and I told him I was done. Him and his daughter needed to get out of my house by the following day and go and stay elsewhere. Honestly, I get it. I totally get it. There is only a certain point you can be pushed to and disrespected like that day in, day out in your own home before you're going to snap. Anywho, he went to his mum's with Vivian, and holy F has my house been peaceful since they left. Matt keeps asking if he can come home and talk, but I told him I honestly just don't know if I want to work this out, because my life has been nothing but peaceful without Vivian here. He keeps saying things like, "You don't mean that, you love her, you've been around her more than half her life." But I really, truly have come to the conclusion that I do not like that girl, and I love my life now that she's not part of it. Am I the butthole for throwing away 8 years and a very loving relationship over his kid? Nope. It feels like the OP has gone above and beyond to try and bond with this girl. And even the dad has been telling her off and telling her, no, you shouldn't be doing that. And she's not listening. And honestly, I would not want to live in a house with a kid that wasn't mine, that disrespected me on the daily, was stealing my stuff. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't put up with it. I'd just be like, nah, this relationship's not worth it if this is what I have to deal with every day. And obviously we don't know what's going on as far as like Vivian's mum. So no idea if she's in the picture or whatever. Maybe Vivian's trying to punish the OP for being the new stepmom, whatever. It doesn't matter. They've been together 8 years. She needs to get over it. They've got a kid together. So yeah, no, I think I would have to go, do you know what? I've tried everything. I've got to leave this where it is. I don't blame her one bit. I would be off ski too. Not my kid, not my problem. Bye. I think Vivian needs therapy for her behaviour. She needs to be taught that you can't be doing that stuff. I feel like she's going to grow up into a bit of a Karen if her dad doesn't find some way of nipping this behaviour in the butt real quick. Anyway, down in the comments, TopBit85 says, not the butthole, living with Vivian sounds like a nightmare. And then Griffin says, him and his daughter needed to get out of my house by the following day and go and stay elsewhere. I'm glad to see this result. And then PudgeHooks2013 says, the only way OP is a butthole is because it took her 8 years to get to this point. I would have told that kid and their parent to go fuck off long ago. Yeah, exactly. Same. Like, I could not have someone disrespecting me in my house like that on a daily that wasn't even, my kid. I would never let my own kids get away with that kind of behaviour. So, like, hell would I have someone else's kid in my house doing that sort of stuff? No way. Next post, posted by LifeCauliflower791. Am I the butthole for spilling hot sauce on my sleeves and teaching my non-verbal cousin not to bite? Oh, I know where this is going already. Goodness me. Reminds me of the time I got my mouth washed out with a bar of soap by my mother for saying the word vagina, vagina, vagina on repeat really loudly in the back garden. I was a little demon spawn, actually, when I think about it. I wasn't. I was just such a hyperactive kid. It was insane. I don't know if you would believe that. No. Anyway. Before you say anything, it was just Tapatio. Tapatio? Please tell me if I'm saying that wrong. Tapatio? Not ghost pepper or scotch bonnet or anything. I have a 4-year-old cousin that is non-verbal. He is a reasonably good kid, but he bites. And since I'm the oldest non-adult, whenever our families get together, I'm the designated childcare for all the kids, including him. I hate when adults do that, when they have a get-together and they just make the oldest kid be responsible for all their, little offspring. No, that's not fair. Look after your own kids. He bit me over the summer. He bit me at Thanksgiving and Christmas. He has bitten me many times. So, I've been wearing my jean jacket around him for protection. Nobody will do anything to help me, so I help myself. New Year's Eve, I spilled a bunch of Mexican hot sauce on the sleeves and the cuffs of my jacket. He bit me, then he stopped really fast and started screaming. Everyone came to check on him, but he wasn't hurt, and he finally settled down. I washed my jacket on the first day and didn't say anything. My aunt came over yesterday and I wore my jacket. He settled down and played. He didn't bite me. I told a friend of mine what I did, and she said I was wrong for doing that. I don't know. He needed to stop and my aunt wasn't doing anything. 16F, by the way. Now, ordinarily I'd be like, yeah, that's probably not a good thing to do, but I understand why the OP would have done it. Because if they're getting constantly bitten by this kid, it's not okay for it to happen. And if they are liable to do those things, an adult needs to be supervising to stop and to interrupt when these things are about to happen. Do you know what I mean? I understand, obviously, that children with intellectual disabilities may do things like this and they don't actually know what they're doing. They haven't got a full control or a full grasp on what they are doing and why they shouldn't do it. But that is where an adult needs to be stepping in and making sure that they are there safeguarding the other kids. So, down in the comments, Physical Front 6662 says, "Not the bolt hole, and I am proud of you for coming up with something simultaneously villainous, educational, and harmless. I do not think I would have come up with such a neat solution at that age." And then Consequence Fairy says, "My oldest was a biter until I bit her back." Don't do that. Don't bite your kids. That's like saying my kid was a hitter until I whacked him back. Don't do that. Sometimes basic mammalian parenting instincts really are the easiest way to get through. Edit, holy crap, my first award. Why thank you, kind stranger. No, don't bite your kids. For God's sake, you're the adult. Find a different way. Definitely not. Oh, and I forgot to say on that last post, I couldn't actually find a single comment that was like, no, you're the butthole. So, next post, posted by PotentialWhile9923. Am I the butthole for refusing to help my parents care for my son, who they adopted? I am an oops baby. My folks had me when they were in their early 40s. I got pregnant when I was in university. I probably can't write here why I didn't want it. I wanted to not be pregnant, but my parents said they would cut off all aid to me if I did that, so I carried it to term. Then I wanted to put the child up for adoption, or drop him at a fire station, or something. I was not in a good place. My parents insisted on adopting him, so he is legally my brother. I do not hate him, but he is a reminder of something terrible that happened to me. I now go home as little as possible. Maybe 2 days a year. I have graduated and I have a life far away from my parents. My brother is 12 now and he is not well behaved. My parents are now in their 70s and are having a retirement. They have to dedicate all of their time to him. They can't take the vacations they planned. They won't downsize to a condo, so they still have yard work and stuff that he will not help with. None of my actual siblings will watch him to give them a break. Yeah, I mean, what did they expect? I can't feel sorry for them. What did they expect? The OP wanted to do the responsible thing at first and terminate because they knew that they didn't want to be a parent. They then wanted to give the child up for adoption or take them to a safe, trusted place. And the parents said no to that too, so they are reaping what they have sown. They reached out to me for help. I said no. I said he is their son and their responsibility. They think I'm being cruel for forcing them to do everything after they helped me so much. Oh, the irony. I think they're cruel for forcing the OP to go along with a pregnancy that was giving them so much emotional turmoil. But there we are. It took everything I had in me not to curse them out. Some of my relatives have reached out to me to say why I refused to fix the mess I made. Them I curse out and block. None of them helped me when I was pregnant against my will. The biological father is on the registry and cannot be near kids. Before you ask, yeah, see, this is what I was thinking. I have a feeling this might be due to an assault that the OP found themselves in this situation, which is oh so awful. And the parents are disgusting for making the OP continue to suffer when this was not something that they just flippantly chose to do. OP is not the hole. The parents are just having to deal with the consequences of forcing the OP to keep the child within their family. The OP was wanting to adopt the child to a family, you know, that would have taken care of him. But no, they didn't want that. Like, whether they agreed with the termination or not is by the by. The OP was looking then at adoption, but they refused that too. So this is the consequences of their actions, and they need to deal with it. So down in the comments, Sad Flatworm 1436 says, not the hole, but I'd change tactic when the hassle comes. I'd have a typed out response ready to cut and paste in. Remind everything that you did not want this pregnancy. Forced, you did not want to keep this child. Forced, and for the third time, you will not be forced to do anything. Your parents made a choice and they have to live with the consequences, just like they made you live with the consequences of their forced choices. Cursing and blocking doesn't get your side of the story out, and people conveniently forget what actually happened back 12 years ago. Yeah. People will easily, if you rise to the bait and act aggressive, they will then go, see, you're the problem. You're the issue. Look at how aggressive you're being. And it doesn't matter how much they've done to push you to that point and how much it is their fault that you were at that point. They won't see it like that. They will immediately just go, yep, you're the problem. Look at the way you're behaving. You're the issue. Hate it so much. So then Ask Garden says, 1. This pre-planned response. 2. Also next time they reach out, let them know that they volunteered to help out. 3. Keep track of who pressures you and tell your parents who's interested in helping out next time they ask you. Yeah, exactly. Be like, you seem so bothered. Clearly you want to help. Off you pop. So last post of the day, posted by AmCrowell1. They say, my husband wakes me up multiple times every night. He'd be going in the bin just for that alone. Insomnia likes to wake me up enough, thank you very much. I don't need some bloke doing it too. I, 40F, am very health conscious and I like to go to bed early, around 9:30. I have a young child and like to ensure that I get enough sleep even when woken early. My husband, 39M, chooses to go to bed a bit later. I don't mind when I wake up when he comes to bed, but lately he's decided that he needs to turn the bright overhead light on. No! I'd be fuming every time he comes to bed so that he can see to get himself ready to sleep. I would be fuming. We have a rule in my house. When the sun goes down, the big lights do not go on unless you really need them. We have lamps all around the house because honestly, I find the big light obnoxious and annoying, and every time it's on, I want to break it. No, honestly, I just hate the big light. The big lights are horrid. So I have lamps, like nice sort of like ambient lamps all over the house so that we can still see perfectly fine. By the way, it's not like my house is like the Bat Cave, but we don't have these horrible fluorescent lights above our heads instead. He used to just use the flashlight on his phone, but says that he doesn't want to feel like he has to tiptoe around. This is an issue for me because not only does it wake me up, but it makes it more difficult to fall back to sleep because I'm more fully awake. He also refuses to put his phone on Do Not Disturb mode at night. I'm not even sure why, but just flatly refuses. I know it's very simple to set your phone up to accept messages and calls from certain numbers, and I don't know why this would not be an option for him. It usually goes off at least once or twice a night. It wakes me up, though it does not seem to bother him. It feels like he's doing this on purpose, purposefully to annoy and disrupt the OP. What do you think? I've become increasingly frustrated with the multiple wakings, and I've definitely yelled at him during the night. I find it disrespectful to another person who is a light sleeper to not take small, simple steps to help them sleep better. He sees this as me trying to control him. I've always been a light sleeper, and sleep has always been an issue between us. Am I the hole? No, honestly, I'd be wanting to divorce his ass at that point. I really would. I am someone, if I ever got in a relationship, a long-term relationship again, I'd have to live separately. Like, me and my last long-term relationship never lived together. The last time I actually lived with a bloke was when I was like 22. And have not lived with a bloke ever since then. I've not lived with any other adult since then. I've had relationships where they might have stayed over a couple nights a week, but since then, no. I've not lived with anyone other than my kids because I don't want anyone in my space that much. No, thank you. It would drive me insane. I am a terrible sleeper as well. And if someone was doing this to me, I would honestly end up hating them, I think, a little bit. Yeah. But like, I'm 34 now. So I haven't lived with anybody for 12 years. Crazy, actually. That's nuts when I think about it like that. It's been blissful, though, I must say. So, down in the comments, Machine Good 6597 says, the control argument is a classic gaslighting tactic used by people who don't want to be held accountable for their shitty behaviour. Asking your partner to use a bedside lamp or a phone flashlight instead of a 100-watt overhead sun is not control. It's basic cohabitation etiquette. If he wants to live like he's the only person in the room, he should sleep in a room where he's the only person. Like, seriously, there's a lot of people now, I've noticed, that are choosing to have separate bedrooms from their partners. It's still in no way the norm, but a lot more people are doing it, and I think it's amazing. Yeah. Absolutely perfect. I think that's a recipe for a fantastic relationship, honestly. And then Tipsy Magpie says, or he should live in a place where he's the only one there. Just an idea for the OP. People who do shit like this are never just doing the one type of mean and petty behaviour. He's just overplayed his hand and lost his plausible deniability. Exactly. Honestly, I just feel like it's selfish to sit there and, you know, when there are workarounds to not do it just because, what? Oh, I don't want to have my life controlled. You're not, mate. You're just being asked to have a bit of consideration. You can still do whatever you want, go to bed whatever time you want to. Just be considerate, for goodness sake, honestly. Okay, so I think that's all we've got time for today. If you made it all the way to the end with me, I appreciate you very, very much. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, notifications on, leave a comment on what you thought about these rather dramatic posts today. Let me know your thoughts, and that is a great way for us to please the algorithm gods, don't you know? Yes, a comment is an offering and they love it. And then that'd be your initiation into the Coven of Void. Welcome. Whatever it is you're doing today, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye.